All right, I do believe we have it. Let's make sure that we get an audio check on this one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of William versus the World.
I am Morpheus.
Technology, social media, and music news for independent musicians. I was getting sidetracked there because you said that you were Morpheus. Lexi just said that she was Morpheus.
I'm Morpheus.
You're the opposite of Morpheus.
Yeah.
You're a tiny little white girl. Morpheus is a big kung fu black guy.
He's great.
He is great, but you don't look like Morpheus.
No.
All right, let's hit.
I have the might of Morpheus.
So everybody, for the show today, Lexi is Morpheus, I guess.
Yeah.
Good job.
I chose my character.
Welcome to another episode of William versus the World. This is a music program, Lex.
Yeah, not the Matrix.
I thought I'd... I always open the segment with two light-skinned brothers on the TV screen. Myself and, of course, Drake. But
He's not like us.
I was going to say, but Drake is not like me.
No. Drake is more like him.
Drake is more like
himself. Yeah.
So, but this is a music show. If this is your first time watching, one of the most powerful things and valuable things you can do for me and Lexi at home, if you decide to watch this, is share the feed. We are live on the tubes. We are live on the book, as well as other single syllable websites like the Gram. Life's too difficult for multi-syllable applications.
Let's have abbreviations for everything.
Hans is like, who's got cookies? We got cookies, motherfucker. That's
yeah,
who.
We do.
We don't run out of cookies, yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is a live stream. We're live. But on social media, they're deleting lives now after 30 days. I don't know if you guys know this. If you guys do live broadcasts on Facebook, they're going to delete your live. So any live that you have, if you did a live 10 years ago and you want to save it or download it, now's a good time. Because starting in, I believe, June, don't quote me on that, but for sure, live recordings will no longer be available to watch after 30 days. So why is that important? It's because if you guys planned on watching any of these live broadcasts, which many of you won't, the long form content that we do here will be erased after 30 days. Not that I give a shit, I'm just telling you. So
You gotta free up storage space.
there you have it. But so still though, the best way to donate to the live feed, you can still give us fucking stars and all that other shit, you know, during the feed, of course, and you can support us also by subscribing to the page.
Become a supporter.
We are a hard rock and heavy metal band from Manchester, New Hampshire. Some people think we're from the UK, and I always have to remind people.
New Hampshire, United States.
Yeah.
We're named after that place.
Off stage, we are also streamers. We are content creators and also everyday people. Let's keep that in mind. I was telling people, Lexi, the best part of being in an independent, no-name band on Facebook is no one's in a rush to steal my music. No one's in a rush to remix and butcher my shit. And no one is going to cover our music poorly.
This is all great news.
See?
Now's the time to be an original act.
It really is. The modern music industry is mostly remixes and karaoke now.
Boring. Let's have something new.
You can donate to the band here on Facebook. You can also donate to our images, broadcasts, and live stream by subscribing here to the Sepsis page, as I mentioned before. That's here on Facebook. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube. It's a little different. But both you have access to bonus content and support, chances to support the band through multiple tiers, of course, on our website.
Sepsis.com.
How's everybody doing tonight? I was going to do the whole thing. Let me just do it.
What thing?
You know the thing. William versus the world.
Why did you do it like Wayne's World?
The tap. I should do stuff like that. We have guitar noises. Hold on, let me find some. Hats. Hats. See what I'm saying?
That's a very nice open hi-hat for sure.
Fucking hats.
It sounds like that too.
It does. It does. That's why I like that. How you doing, Hans?
That's great.
Thank you to Hans tonight, our only viewer.
Hans is holding down the fort.
Thank you.
Fuck yeah, thank you, Hans.
Well then, Hans, you'll love this next story.
It's for you.
Who is a Tool fan? Are you a fan of Tool? They're one of those bands that when I was growing up, I couldn't understand any of the music because it was probably too smart and progressive and edgy and cool for me. So a lot of awesome rock and roll and metal I didn't get to because it was too advanced for me at the time. Yeah. So I kind of like Tool now, but I didn't like Tool as a teenager. It made me upset.
To be honest, I'm sure I've heard a Tool song. I just don't recall it being, you know what I mean? Recall it being Tool.
Yeah, we'll have to listen to some Tool after this. Can we write it down? Because Tool is one of those bands that people swear to God that they're the best band.
They do that to every band.
No, I know. But people swear by Tool.
Swear?
They swear to God.
They have like a altar and shit.
They fucking swear to God. When it comes to the band Tool, people are all wrenched up.
Is this like the same people that would be wrenched up over Pantera?
I
would
would
that be?
a different energy there.
Okay.
A different energy.
Okay, good.
Yo, Ricky, what up? Let's give some applause to the homeboy. My brother Rick's in the building. We always sometimes we gotta drop the music, cause you know it's family first in here.
Mm-hmm.
This one's for you, Rick. It's not bad.
Is that China?
That's a China symbol. That's a China symbol. Yeah. Welcome, Rick. Thank you for coming. That's nice, man. It's nice to see some of my friends and family hit the stream. It was a good feeling. Not many people know me on the internet. So when there is people that know me, it's actually comforting. I'm one of those people that you see in a 20-second clip, or you see me at the club and everybody goes, hey, I know that guy. But what do you know about me, though? We ever had dinner together? Have you ever met my mother? Have you ever been to my... That's what I'm saying. How much personal or private time have we ever spent together?
Mm-hmm. What's your memory?
Right.
How'd you meet?
Right. Do you know my children? Did we do time in prison together? Were we in the military together? Gotcha. I was never in the military.
Ah. See? You wanted a trick.
I got him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Tool, the band Tool.
Mm-hmm.
The band Tool was a very popular band when I was growing up. And all the cool rock and roll kids around me would be talking about Tool, and I just felt like a tool. Because I didn't know any damn thing about rock and roll. I didn't understand the complexities of progressive music and polyrhythm and all of that. And it was so intimidating. I was never going to like Tool. Because when I was a kid, imagine this, right? I must be the only person like this, right? But when I was a kid, everybody, there's nobody else like this out there, I'm sure. But when I was a kid, I thought I knew everything. All right? And I thought I knew everything that I liked already. I thought it was preset. I thought it was like autopilot. I had a default setting. But when I was younger, things that I couldn't understand instantly intimidated me. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that, but like shit that I couldn't do, some of that stuff bothered me. You know, I wouldn't want to try it or I wouldn't like it. So a lot of bands or music, stuff that I couldn't understand. I had that problem with reggae growing up at first. Reggae was a difficult music for me to enjoy because I couldn't understand it, and because I couldn't understand it, I would call it whack. You know what I mean? You're just being a young person. You know what? I also like fucking music that you fuck to, like, you know, 80s and 90s R&B and slow jams. It made my skin crawl. I couldn't stand it growing up. Of course, then you get your hand on a piece of pussy, you feel differently about it as time, you know, as you grow up, puberty hits, and you start feeling differently. But I can remember as a child, you know what I mean, like listening to, you know, slow saxophone or intimate or private music that expressed vulnerability or complexities, I thought was shit because I didn't understand it.
Yeah, dude, your brain had to develop more to understand what they're talking about. I was like that with classical music. Growing up, I did not understand or appreciate good old classical music. But as I got older, classical music, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is beautiful.
Right.
There should be a thing more.
No, and it's, I can remember like back when they had music in school, for instance, they teach you each instrument and they would instruct you how to navigate the program, and all of that now seems so cool in the day of like apps and everything is digital and everything is monetized and everything's algorithmic. You would never thought that you wanted to know or care about any of that shit until you get as old as me, and then you're like, God damn it, I love the fucking cello.
The saxophone rips.
Right, the saxophone rips. I didn't like, here's the thing about me too. Like, growing up, it was hardcore hip hop or nothing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Fight the power.
Fuck yeah.
But I hated the sound of hard rock guitar.
Wow.
It's amazing
That's
because
interesting.
it's amazing because I'm a guitar player.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's interesting.
You know more than anybody how much I love guitar.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But this enforces my point, when your brain isn't developed, you think you know what you like.
Mm-hmm.
But until you become vulnerable, until you can deal with emotion, until you can manage and process the other parts of yourself, it's hard to even really know what you like in life,
Yeah, because you're still developing an identity of what you want to do, what your creature is going to do.
And as far as music and art, when you're a young person, you kind of feel like survival depends on you in the circle of your friends and your social network.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're a young person, you feel like developing your identity is part of survival because you have to, what feels like, survive in the social circles of your friends and networks and people that you're growing up with. So the music that you like, the way that you dress, or the art, whatever your self-expression is, at the time we care so much about it in our youth, when we're teens, into our early 20s, because shaping our identity has a lot more to do with survival, or what feels like survival.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of music you listen to can get you beat up. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
kind of crowds, the kind of fashion. Think about today in LGBTQ and how people look. Or think about if you have brown skin or how people get profiled, depending on how you look, depending on images. Or I can remember, especially in Portsmouth, the punk kids were the coolest kids in Portsmouth. They had green hair and spiked hair and chains. And I remember everybody driving around being so terrified of the kids in leather with their chain wallets and their green hair. And like me and my mother could never, we'd laugh, we never could figure out what was so terrifying about the colorful kids downtown. But
They're expressing themselves.
if self-expression, okay, if self-expression can be linked to your identity, okay, and your identity is linked to survival. A lot of times when we're growing up, what feels like identity shaping is coexists with survival, and making it through puberty and defining yourself really matters. That's why a lot of the music that we listen to, even as adults, the most music we listen to, and everybody at home I'm sure can agree, a lot of the music we love and listen to comes from a time when we were shaping our identities. A lot of the music that we feel is important today, a lot of the music, if you're my age, if you're in your 30s and 40s and 50s, a lot of the music that you feel is nostalgia, a lot of the music you feel is nostalgic goes back to a time when you were shaping your identity. A time that felt like survival, when shaping your identity and who you were. That's why a lot of people that are older, people that feel like they're over the hill and old dogs can't learn new tricks, a lot of people that are my age won't read new books or seek out new art or look for new rap or look for new music because they feel like they're done shaping their identity. And their identity no longer has to deal with surviving, because we don't hang out with our friends. We don't have to survive with them in social circles anymore. So we don't have to listen to kind of music that makes other people happy.
Mm-hmm.
We don't appreciate the kind of art. We don't do things anymore to people please and shape our identities in our peer groups. I just went off on a fucking tangent, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just completely went off, but it is a good idea nonetheless. That's what this show is for. We could do that here.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
But what you're saying is very true.
coming full circle. Tool. Hard rock, heavy metal. I secretly liked these things as a kid. But in my house, it wasn't appropriate. It wasn't black enough. You feel what I'm saying? It wasn't the males in my house and the social circles that I was in. Liking rock and roll wasn't a comfortable place for me. I would have to have been intellectually honest with myself. I would have had to have confronted my uncles and my cousins, and you know, if you like NASCAR in my family, you was a white boy. If you like, you know what I mean? If you liked, and that was bad, you know, that was bad for me. Because, you know what I mean? So if you like guitar, if you would like certain things, you was, you know, you had a label on you. So I think I skipped out on liking rock and roll. I think the guitar made me nervous. I think the saxophone made me nervous. I think vulnerability made me nervous because I was in an atmosphere where the male role models look down upon that sort of thing. You know? So I think it made it hard for me to appreciate things that maybe I would have liked and learned earlier in life. But you know what helped me with rock and roll was wrestling.
Yeah.
No matter what color you were, no matter what shape you were, no matter what, like all kids in New England, all the young people, everybody here loved wrestling. It was one of those things, WWE and WCW and all that shit. It was one of those things where culturally you saw all kinds of different kinds of people in character, right?
Yeah.
You saw Native American characters, and you saw black characters, and fat characters, and women characters, right?
Right.
You saw pimp characters, and rock and roll characters, and redneck characters. Like, wrestling was that place. There was no other place like wrestling. It was like the modern meme of its time. And every time the wrestlers would come out, they would have their own entrance music. They would have their own display, okay? And if you were in an interracial household like mine, okay, it was the only time when you really saw all of these cultures come together. It was the only time where it was fucking acceptable in the 80s and 90s, when the entire family would sit around and we would watch all this music and all this color and all this culture collide, right? Mm-hmm. It's really quite smart, the marketing, you know? We can get into that another time. But the point is, each wrestler would come down and they would have the music match their cultural output, for lack of a better collection of English.
That's cool.
So it was one of the first places where, like, if you liked country music, okay, it was the time, if you were a wrestling fan and you weren't allowed to like country music during the week, right? When wrestling came on, the country song that the wrestler came down to, everybody heard every week. So people would get used to it over time, and you would enjoy it. You know, the Ultimate Warrior. Yup, the Ultimate Warrior would come down to, you know, thrash metal and shake the ropes. And whether you were black, whether you were white, whether you were a woman, whatever your case was, over time, you watch these same wrestlers and these characters, and over time, you would develop feelings for them and emotions for them. And of course, it's all fun in theater, right? But there's a much more brilliant thing happening here. It's people coming outside their bubble in a safe place where they can hear heavy metal, when they can hear rap music, when they can hear the theme music from each of these personalities coming down, you know? And you had to wait, too, because, of course, they got to get in the ring, you know? So you'd have to wait for this whole display, this whole presentation. And I don't know if you know, have you ever seen wrestling before?
Yes. Monday Night Raw.
Aha! So you're familiar with this whole presentation. I didn't know that you've seen it, but look, everyone has. Like, so that was one of the first places where I started to become more vulnerable about and understanding intellectually what I really liked. Because I'd see the same guys in my house that say, oh man, you know, heavy metal is only for white boys, you know? I would see my uncles and cousins and people in the house, I would see those same people cheering on wrestlers that came out to heavy metal.
Mm-hmm.
I could say, oh man, these guys don't hate rock and roll like that.
No.
These guys don't hate guitar like that.
No.
And over time, you realize everyone's just putting on a show.
Even WWE.
Even WWE. You realize everyone's just putting on a show. It's all just advertisement. Your friends, your family. And it's all kind of to get a strategy, and gain an advantage in whatever social group or family group that you're in. It's quite disgusting to some degree. Nonetheless, that's my Tool story. Anyways, the poor pricks, they got a class action lawsuit over their festival performance. I've never heard anything like this
That
before.
doesn't make any sense.
Well, not.
What is the lawsuit about?
Well,
What is it?
let's check it out. Plenty of Tool fans felt cheated over Tool's recent Live in the Sand Festival performances. Tool promised fans, quote, 2 unique sets. Here we go. But only delivered 1 unique set and then a second set half full of repeats. Well, that's unique in itself. This whole thing is unique.
Yes.
I'm not going to play with the English, but I do think that that's funny. Okay. Now it seems things are being taken one step further as lawyers and Live in the Sand attendee Stacio French Resec is considering filing a class action lawsuit against the band. This is not great news. They're considering it.
I haven't done it.
Right. May I remind everybody that this is an entertainment show? This is not a news show. Sometimes people get that fucked up. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about. We just read articles about the music industry and then laugh with you guys at home.
Yes, it's commentary.
Yeah. So Rusek has since spoke to Metal Hammer, another meme
Such a trusted place.
another meme tabloid hard rock and heavy metal e-zine, saying that the lawsuit would be against the promoters of Live in the Sand over the phrasing of the advertising.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go, Lex. Quote.
Oh my gosh. Oh
shit.
hell. This is 1984. I'm sorry.
You love this stuff.
Yeah.
Quote, these were my 27th and 28th Tool shows. There was a palpable sense of betrayal in the air as the show began the second night and lingered throughout the remainder of the weekend. What it boils down to is the purchasers of the festival package were promised 2 unique sets by the band Tool. While the comments on these posts argue about what unique means, the reality is that the opportunity to see Tool play 2 unique sets with no repeats was the determining factor for most attendees to pull the trigger on spending thousands of dollars to attend. Thoughts, everybody?
So you mean...
Weigh in.
Okay, there's one thing I want to say, but I know we can't because of the type of podcast. But I am going to say this.
Yes.
Are they really going to have a lawsuit, pull out all the judges, get a jury or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
over English words?
That's what court is about. That what you just said, courtrooms, litigation.
There's a dictionary for...
It's the court that decides what goes into a dictionary.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The word unique has already been argumented. I mean, they've already had
Augmented? It's being augmented right now.
No, I meant like argument. Like they've already had like a debate about it.
That's what courtrooms are about. Courtrooms are about, trust me, I'm black. Going to court is about arguing English words and what they mean. That is what court is.
But
And when they don't agree, you have the appellate division, and then you have the supreme and superiors, and then you have higher levels of court all the way up to the Supreme Court.
And we're also not just fighting over English with this one. We're also fighting over someone's opinion over what's unique or not.
Yes, that's what court is, though. People go to court to argue about what a slip and fall is. If you actually hit me, did you rear end me? What does rear end mean? Is it the end? Is it the rear? Is it a hit?
That's what I'm saying. Like, all these words have already been debated.
And that's
in a dictionary.
And the reason why, we're going to get to this in a minute, but the difference is that a dictionary is not on public display. It's somebody's choice. You feel what I'm saying? Like, for instance, it's not an order. A judge must order it in writing.
Right.
That's the way it works here.
Right.
On this planet. It could change, and then we could talk about it. For now, maybe in the future Spotify decides, but right now each court up to the highest court makes a decision on what words mean, because
if this performance was unique or not.
Yes, you have to decide if it is indeed a performance, on what date, what time did it start. That's what court is all about, is determining the objective truths publicly in ledger for public display.
So after this, we're going to know what a unique performance really is.
Trust me, I spent my entire life in courtrooms.
Oh, I definitely trust you.
And
100%.
I was born in court.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. I totally trust you with this one.
That's all court is just chatting. But it's chat that's made unprivate.
It's public chat.
Right. We're going to get... Right. It's right. Which brings me to our next story.
Oh, God.
Spotify removes Andrew Tate's podcast.
What about the other sex offenders on Spotify? Are they going to be...
We'll get to that in a moment. So, I don't know if you guys are a fan of this guy. I don't really know too much about him. But you guys know I know all about Spotify, so let's get to it. Spotify has removed several podcasts from controversial influencer Andrew Tate, with a spokesperson saying the content violated Spotify's policies. Okay. The move came after... Hold on a second. Let's get this going on. The move came after Spotify faced mounting pressure for profiting from Tate's misogynistic messaging, with a Change.org petition to remove the content generating over 100,000 signatures, and recent reports alleging that even Spotify employees felt it was pretty vile that they hosted it. The issue I do have with this is Spotify has R. Kelly.
Yes,
on their program, and nobody says anything.
Mm-hmm. They also have Charles Manson, and
I believe
anything.
I believe Charles Manson's music is also still available on Spotify, and this is public knowledge. Ever since Puff Daddy became a sex trafficker, ever since that Puff Daddy became an alleged sex offender, he's had more plays and more follows. Puff Daddy's had more music plays on Spotify since he's became an alleged sex trafficker. Andrew Tate is an alleged sex trafficker. So Spotify has always been soft on sex offenders and alleged sex traffickers and even murderers. So I don't give a shit if they removed alleged sex trafficker Andrew Tate because Spotify makes plenty of money playing R. Kelly's money. They make plenty of money playing R. Kelly's music and storing his music. R. Kelly's music, convicted child abuser. His music is available on Spotify. So if they can remove Andrew Tate, then why don't they remove Puff Daddy?
R. Kelly. And all the others. Why?
Andrew Tate is an alleged sex trafficker. Hey, innocent until proven guilty.
That's why we said alleged.
But R. Kelly is a convicted sex offender.
Yeah, convicted in jail.
Charles Manson went to prison for murder. And Puff Daddy is an alleged sex trafficker and rapist.
Currently in court.
And yet, he, in his music, still gets played on commercial radio and Spotify and iTunes. Yeah, that shit is crazy. What
Not good.
do you guys think of that?
I think they should remove all sex offenders from the thing.
Okay.
Not just one.
Me too. These are the kinds of people that think free speech is the right to insult other people to cause other people pain.
That's not freedom of speech.
See, here's the thing about the whole free speech thing, okay? People think that free speech is the right to insult other people and cause them pain. Some people think free speech is a weapon or a tool to wield free of consequences, free of punishment for the things that they say. You can't hide behind free speech if you're using speech to abuse other people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
These people, and people like Andrew Tate, hide behind and abuse the idea of free speech so they can abuse using it as a privilege to hurt others. That's not what free speech is.
No. No.
Spotify may have removed Andrew Tate, but they still have R. Kelly and P. Diddy. This isn't a political statement or standard, but let's look at it this way. This is not a political statement. Hear me out, guys. Come with me now. Join me. Let's get all of the sex traffickers. Let's get all of the abusers. Let's get all of the offenders and the psychopaths off the internet and out of politics, out of positions of public influence and platforms of power.
I agree 100%.
Let's get all the traffickers. If there's one thing we can all agree on, the following is not a political statement. Let's get all the traffickers, all the abusers, all the sex offenders, all the psychopaths off the fucking internet. Let's get them all out of politics. Let's get them all out of positions of public influences. And let's get them off of platforms of power. Number one, let's make a non-partisan standard. Let's make a new non-political standard. And that standard is no more sex offenders in office. I don't care where they come from, which side of the aisle.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. No picking and choosing.
No.
All criminals and alleged sex offenders, children abusers and women abusers should be removed from the internet. They should be removed from politics, from policing. Their public privileges should be stripped and all features of authority paused until all of the observable scientific truths can be gathered and sorted out in a public, plain sight view of the people through the process of the law at the highest courts.
100%.
Do not pick and choose when and how to dial in your freedom for other people. All criminals and alleged sex offenders should be removed from the internet.
Yes.
Children and women abusers should be removed from politics and policing instantly. If you're a celebrity, you should be removed from Hollywood. If you're a rapper, you should be removed from the stage. All of your public privileges and celebrity, all of your public figure, all of the features and powers that you have as a celebrity should be stripped immediately. All of the features of any authority, be it governmental, federal, police, whether you're in the church, all of your features and authority should be paused until the observable scientific truths sorted out in public, in plain sight of the people. That's it. That is the new standard. No more sex offenders on the internet. No more sex offenders in politics. No more sex offenders on YouTube. No more influencers. No more clergies. No more rabbis. No more sex offenders. It's not political. It's called decency. If you've been alleged, all of your features should be paused at that time. I don't give a fuck who you are. Republicans, Democrats, Catholics, Baptists, black guys, white guys, fat guys, gay people. If you are an alleged abuser or sex offender, you should be stripped of your public figure immediately until we could get to the bottom of it in a court of law publicly in front of people.
Yes.
How fucking difficult is that?
Not difficult at all. They just don't got the backbone to fucking do it.
The problem is that there's a certain kind of person in this country that picks and chooses their favorite rapists. That's who.
Mm-hmm.
I've said enough on this. I think I've said enough on this. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm the only male role model on the internet that has ever said, once and for all, if you are a convicted, if you have been alleged a sex offender, pedophile, or women abuser, you should be removed from the internet immediately until the strongest men and women can get to the bottom of it in public.
I have a court order. The process of the law.
In the true form of the process of the law, the public process of the law.
Yes.
People are like, why do you want to hold people accountable to the law? Because I'm black. I went to jail. I did my time.
Damn right. Everyone should do that.
Anything I've ever done, I've been held accountable to the longest, strongest arm of the law.
And everyone else should too.
And everyone else should too.
Doesn't matter what the fuck you are.
I did 17 years behind bars. And I never said I was innocent for nothing. You ain't never heard me say that I didn't do something or I was Mr. Innocent or none of that. We all come from backgrounds. We all make mistakes. We all got stuff we got to go through. But under no circumstances, at this time, at 2025, why, as the strongest men, you guys at home, you guys are the strongest men. You guys are it. You guys are the strongest women. We're not counting on celebrities or politicians or other people to call this out. We're not waiting for Jesus. We're not waiting for nobody. We don't need to wait for Jesus. We don't need to wait for your mother to figure out, to determine to get the fucking sex offenders, the pedophiles, and the fucking rippers out of politics. Get the sex offenders out of politics. All of them. And if they are alleged, get them out until we can figure it out.
I don't know why we don't do
What
that.
the fuck?
Why don't we do that?
It's like it's just not picking and choosing. I don't care. It doesn't matter who they are, what they look like, what their age is, what partisan. I don't even know anything about that stuff. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. I could give a fuck less. Let it burn down with Facebook and Snapchat. I could care less.
Yeah.
But one thing we can all agree on is we cannot be led by sex offenders. We cannot have rapist sex offender leaders. We can't do it. We can't.
Convicted or alleged.
What's the point of removing Andrew Tate from Spotify if you still have Puff Daddy on it? What's the news?
Right. You're not doing anything.
You're not doing anything. One sex offender gets removed, another one stays on.
You're not doing shit.
Let's get rid of all of them.
Yes. Yeah.
How many people here have been an alleged sex offender? Raise your hand. I'll wait for it. How many people out there would stick up for anybody on their street if they were an alleged sex offender? I'll wait for it. Then why do we stick up for sex offender politicians? If your brother was an alleged sex offender, you wouldn't stick up for him. If the guy at the store was an alleged sex trafficker, you would not be vouching for him. So why, when it comes down to politicians, celebrities, or sports players, why, when it comes down to people that you motherfuckers have never met before, why are you ready to die on that rock? Only the weakest men in America are willing to follow a rapist into their grave. You're gonna die on that rock, son. Human intelligence is sharply declining. That's the next story. I don't care if people agree with me or not. This is one of them things, I don't give a fuck who agrees with me. I don't never do nothing hoping that somebody's going to agree with me.
Facts.
Nothing I say, nothing I do, at no time in my life, I didn't even want to impress my own parents. I never gave a shit about impressing nobody. What I care about is telling the truth.
Hell yeah.
Fuck that.
The headline for the next one is interesting.
You want to read this one?
Yeah, I'll read it.
All right, here comes Lexi, everybody. She's going to do it up. Gives me a chance to run an errand. Ladies and gentlemen, Lexi Swarm. Oh, wait a minute. Lexi Swarm in a minute. So yeah, this is good. Human intelligence sharply declining. The benchmarks are not looking good, folks. Lexi's going to read the article, and I'll be back for commentary. I'm going to just use the bathroom.
Oh.
It's kind of cozy.
Yeah.
It's cozy around
Oh,
here.
I like how he's scratching his head. He's confused. Makes sense.
All right, now see what you got to do. Can you read this?
Yes.
Do you want it bigger?
Wait, you can make it bigger?
Hold on.
Where?
This is something I figured out the other day.
What?
So look, you go to this.
Yeah.
Like, boop, boop. And it's cool because people at home can read it too.
That's
you-
beautiful.
Are you yawning?
No. I did yawn a little bit earlier, though. Well, if we didn't pick it up on the mic. Anyways, hello, we're going to read this article together. It's going to be a fun time, so I remember. Human intelligence is sharply declining, as we all know. Here we go. As the Financial Times reports, assessments show that people across age groups are having trouble concentrating. Concentrating.
Yeah, so people are having a tough time concentrating.
I'm one of them, evidently. Okay, let's try this again.
Take it slow. You're like concentrating.
I was like, I haven't seen this word before. And it was like, wait, it's concentrating.
It's a good weed.
It is. So assessments show that people across age groups are having trouble concentrating and losing reasoning, problem solving, and information processing skills, all facets of the hard to pin down metric that intelligence, they put that in air quotes, is supposed to measure. These results, the FT reports, are gleaned from benchmarking tests that track cognitive skills in teens and young adults. From the University of Michigan's Monitoring the Future study documenting concentration difficulties of 18-year-old Americans to the Program for International Student Assessment, I'm not going to read the hyphen for that. It's Program for International Assessment, that measures the learning skills of 15-year-olds around the world. Years of research suggests that young people are struggling with reduced attention spans and weakening critical thinking skills.
Nah.
Yeah, huh? Though there have been a demonstrably
Power through it, kid.
steep decline in cognitive skills since the COVID-19 pandemic due to the educational disruption it presented. These trends have been in evidence since at least the mid-2010s.
Now that's you got bad parents.
Yeah. People on the internet. Suggesting...
What was stopping these little shits, okay, from hanging out with their fucking parents and watching self-help videos and exercising at home and helping their fathers build shit? No one said that we had to sit in COVID-19 and everybody OD on porn, masturbate, and smoke cheap mid-grade weed.
And have your children be on the tablet all day.
Right. What happened during the lockdowns is kids got bored and their parents bought them gadgets with stimulus checks to babysit those little brats. Look, we have a thing called summer break, right? Where, you know, kids have a few months to tear through recreation. There's nothing stopping those kids from learning during those 3 months.
Nope.
There was nothing stopping those kids from being interested in things, and there's nothing stopping their parents from encouraging them to be interested. There was nothing stopping their parents from spending more time with their families and locking in. People promised that they were going to learn new shit during the lockdowns, but they didn't. They ate ice cream and jerked the fuck off.
And got fat. These trends have been in evidence since at least the mid-2010s, suggesting that whatever is going on runs much deeper and has lasted far longer than the pandemic. I've been saying that. We've been saying that.
That's what happens
We've
if you
been
give
saying that.
everybody toys and you tell everybody that life now exists magically and synthetically on the internet. We tried to tell everybody about this before and warn everybody that if you have to start your day and in order to make it to work, your phone has to give you a notification and a permission. And then, of course, you're ovulating, your phone tells you when you're menstruating, your phone tells you when you have a new date, your phone tells you the new music you should be listening to, the phone tells you what your diet should be. If we are selling and promoting and advertising gadgets that promise that at every fucking turn and checkpoint of life, this gadget is going to listen to music for you, it's going to date for you. You get to a point where a lot of these apps are now behind paywalls. So if every aspect of your life is behind a paywall, if to get the new recipes, you have to put a token in the machine. To play the new video game, you have to play the new you have to put a token in the machine. To have expanded dating options, you have to put a token in the machine. They've got Bible apps. They've got apps to start your day, therapy. All of these apps, they promise to be free. They promise to help us out. They promise to connect us all. But for the last 20 years, we've all uploaded our data into these apps, and now all of these developers and algorithms know us really well, and they think that they can predict what we want next and what we're going to do next.
And not only that, these apps that are claiming to be free, they started off as free, like Spotify, for example. They all started off, and even Amazon was like, "We're gonna do books."
But that's how drug dealers do it. They give you a hit of cocaine for free.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They come to the party.
Right, and then they realize, oh, all these people are posting on these sites. All these people are having all these data things. Oh, we can make money off of this, so let's make a subscription.
Right, yeah,
So
yeah.
now it's no longer free apps. Now it's a subscription base because everyone just wants your dollar because every tech agent out, or not agent, but tech creator wants to make money.
And at first, they're making money collecting data. They tell everybody it's about data collecting, and everyone's worried about that. But while we're focused on data, these smaller startup software companies and programs become legacy corporations like Facebook or like
And then they
X.
want your dollar.
Right, and then they're no longer in competition for data because they have it already. And now what they need from you is attention. And they need all your attention. Snapchat is in competition with Facebook. Facebook's in competition with Amazon. Amazon's in competition with X. And they're all in competition no longer for your data, but for your attention. So now all the apps that are on your phone, as soon as you wake up in the morning, they're all competing every step of the way for your attention most of the day. And in a world where we have convinced everybody that everything you do is behind a paywall and you need your phone to do it, you need a gadget to do everything you want to accomplish in your day. If you want to fill out an application, you got to do it on the app. If you want to do your taxes, you got to do it on the app. If you want to go on a date, you got to do it on the app. If you want to listen to new music, it's behind a paywall on the app. If you want therapy, it's behind an app. If you want to see the nurse, it's behind an app. If you want to go grocery shopping or do your laundry, it's all behind a paywall on the app. So the second you wake up, these companies and corporations and billionaires are all fighting nonstop for all of your, sending you notifications aggressively throughout the day. Reddit, sending you notifications, your doctor's office, TurboTax. Your whole day is
It's teaching people that in order for you to do something, all you gotta do is just spend money and you'll do it. You'll get it.
Yep. That's what I meant. Like the common denominator is you put a quarter in the machine.
Mm-hmm. And you're gonna get whatever you want, but not really.
But not really, right? Right.
It's a scam.
Because if you do get it, then you ain't gonna buy it. If you find love on Tinder, then you don't need the app anymore.
They're gonna delete it. And there goes Tinder. That's why they want you single. Anyways. Obviously, there's no single answer as to why people seem to be struggling with cognitive skills, but one key indicator is the sharp decline in reading and the world's changing relationship to the way we consume information and media. In 2022, for example, the National Endowment for the Arts found that just 37.6% of Americans said they'd read a novel or short story in the year prior. A share down from 41.5% in 2017 and 45.2% in 2012. Yeah, not a lot of readers these days. They'll just do audiobooks. It would be easy enough to blame this decline on people's reading less and, like I just did, and presumably scrolling online brain rot more. But according to a 2023 result from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the same international consortium
That sounds good to me, Lex.
that puts that puts out. I don't like this whole hyphen thing that they do. The PISA, the thing I read earlier. Survey: 34% of adults in the United States scored at the lowest levels of numeracy, which essentially means that they lack the ability to work with numbers. Yeah. A year prior, that share was just 29%. How many of you guys don't like math?
If all of your apps do all of your math for you, if all of your apps do all your fucking for you, if all of your apps do all your cooking for you, then you don't know how to cook.
Yeah, you don't know how to do math. You don't know how to
Right.
read.
If people if
you don't know how to wash your hands.
If AI does all your flirting and it does all your chatting for you, you know, if you can't look somebody in the eye, these robots can't do that.
No, these robots don't have what's called human connection. Basic human connection.
And like this is stuff that we talk about all the time. But if an algorithm taught you how to make love and date and be vulnerable, it's going to be different when you get in kinetic physical relationships with people. You
And
feel
you
what
can't
I'm
handle
saying?
reality. You cannot handle reality. If people live
Which-
like that,
yes.
which people do, they can't handle reality.
Relationships are in your face.
Yeah, they're not on the phone. Like,
You know?
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm glad to not be on it because I am starting, and I've always been this way. But human connection, like eye to eye conversation, that's not something you can get on a screen. Like, if I'm sitting with someone at dinner, for example, I don't want them on their phone. We're here at dinner. What the fuck is your phone for? We're here. I'm a human being.
Right,
You're-
we're not behind a paywall.
Right. We're here in reality.
We don't need to ask Mark Zuckerberg.
Permission
Right.
for you to say hello. Would you like some chicken?
Right, you
with your
think people be
peas?
tired of it? Like, you know what? Oh, thank God we don't have to ask, you know, Mark Zuckerberg to
Here in our house,
eat
we were
breakfast.
tired of being on the internet all damn day for 2.5 years straight during the pandemic.
remember? Yeah. Yeah.
You all remember that. You all went crazy. You're all like, I want to go outside. I'm sick of being locked down on the internet. And here you guys all are sucking off the internet.
right.
We, here, the real people that don't like being on the internet, are outside.
You gotta go. You do gotta do that. I mean, I think that like
I mean, it's one thing
it
if
would
we
be
own a business.
impossible. What I'm saying is, I think it would be impossible to keep up in today's world if all of us did laundry by hand. So I, you know, if all of us were walking, it would be hard to get the supplies to where they need to go. So you can't just be like, oh, fuck electricity. Electricity is a real thing that existed before us.
But we don't need
All,
social media.
yeah, right. We don't need to wield it like a weapon.
We don't need an app to teach us
Right.
when to wash our hands.
Right. I understand. I see what you're saying. Right. We could just wash our hands.
Right, you could just get up off your butt and go
You know
wash your
what?
hands.
It's like, you know what the
You don't
thing
need an
is, though,
app.
too? There is an app for everything. And that, you know, just like there's a gadget or there was a TV show almost for everything. Remember for a while, reality TV?
Oh yeah, I was a TV kid, so
People
I
eat,
binged on the
remember,
TV.
like those ones with like women that eat toilet paper and shit.
oh yeah. My Strange Addiction, fucking
Like there was a TV show for everything.
cooking, hanging out with Martha Stewart.
Oh my
like-
goodness! Like, you know, from Pimp My Ride to like kids eating glass.
So looking at people's mansions.
So I think we think that the internet is nonsense and it's brand new, but nonsense and stupidity has been here for a long time.
yeah, that's
And
yeah.
pointless plastic gadgets and goofy shit. If you look, you know, throughout the centuries of people inventing things in Western civilization, there's been some dumb shit. Like, hold on, I'll give you one. Slavery.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
So we've
Ripping
invented,
people from their homes.
we've invented some
Displacement.
really stupid shit.
Diseases.
So, all right, you ready?
Yeah.
I feel stretchy.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
That was good.
Thank you.
I gave you new batteries.
Oh, you're the best. Yeah, it was like a red light for a while.
Dude, is your leg all right? Really? We're gonna finish up. This will be the last. This will be the last hoorah.
We're gonna amputate.
Lexi said she's gonna amputate her leg.
Yep.
But
I'm ready.
we're gonna try to avoid it
Take it
as
off.
much as possible. Why do you got this auto scroll thing going on?
Wait, auto scroll. What's that?
Here's a cool one. Biological mom is so proud son escaped after 20 years in captivity.
What?
Isn't that interesting?
20 years and no one tried to rescue him?
Yeah. Quote, I'm heartbroken. I still just can't fathom it, the mom said of her son's alleged treatment. Quote, how can anybody treat somebody like that? Well, honey,
The world is a cruel place.
wow. I don't even want to, hate to tell you. What the hell? Look at this lady. All right, here we go. This lady look crazy than a motherfucker. The biological mother of a Connecticut man who escaped after allegedly being held captive by his stepmother for over 20 years is speaking out. Now, I just want to say, it's in Connecticut. That's why I grabbed this. This is New England.
Yeah.
We go and play shows in these fucking towns.
Yeah.
We probably played a show next door. Like we were doing breakdowns and there was some kid chained to a wall. That's what I'm saying. If you think your life is bad,
That's
your next door neighbor is chained to a wall naked. You hear what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
yeah. You never know.
You never know. You
People
think you
forget
know
about-
everybody.
People forget about stuff like that.
I don't. Because I grew up with kids chained to a wall.
Right. So you can't forget.
I can never forget.
Right. But there's people out there that do forget.
I'm telling you, man.
That's
All right.
crazy. 20 years? That is
This isn't like, but
mind-blowing.
yeah, but this isn't like in Europe or something.
No,
this
this is
isn't
right in our
This isn't
region.
like this isn't Hollywood Hostel or
No.
Stephen King.
Nope.
This is in Connecticut.
This is in our region.
So when I say to people when I talk about my life and people are like, "Oh my God, no, this shit is regular." All right. The biological mother of a Connecticut man who escaped after allegedly being held captive by his stepmother for over 20 years is speaking out. Quote, I love him. He's so strong, and I'm proud of him for doing what he needed to do. I wish he did it sooner. The man's mother told NBC?
You wish he did. You're just relying on him to escape himself?
What the fuck is going on? The mother, who asked not to be named, that's suspicious, said that she and her daughter spent years trying to locate the man in vain. This is fucking nuts. Quote, I've always known he's existed, and I've always loved him, and I've always been trying to find him. I've been looking for him for over a decade. How did you lose him?
How did
Why? Hold on. How did you lose a fucking person? You're his mother. Look,
to his stepmother?
I'm an orphan, so think of how this hits me.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What do you mean? You lost the baby?
And he went to the stepmother?
When did you lose the baby? I want.
If you
You know what I want.
That's
it.
If you knew he would be at his stepmother,
What
why
is-
would you go to the stepmother?
Holy shit!
You just relied on him to
Look at this
survive?
lady. That's her? What?
This story
That's her?
wild.
Oh, no. I want you to come and look at this. I want you to come and look.
Oh god. I'm coming.
She's got a goddamn crucifix hanging from her neck.
Oh, we gotta run away.
No, I just want to show you.
We're running.
Hold on, I just want you to look.
Oh my gosh.
Look at this bitch.
Terrifying.
Fuck that
That's
bitch.
terrifying.
Oh my god.
I protest.
You know me with this shit.
Yeah.
I'm about to, oh my
We're
God.
running away.
What the flying fuck? Now that her son is free from the home where he was allegedly being held, what the fuck were they doing? Oh my God.
I don't even want to know.
His mother is hoping those who knew about his captivity will be punished. Bitch, you knew!
You knew!
I'm so mad at this lady.
Right.
What the fuck?
How could you let this
Yo, what is going on?
this long and just relied on him to survive?
Yo, I'm bugging.
I feel bad for that.
Yo,
person.
what is going
I
on?
feel bad for that son. I feel really bad for him. I hope he's
Punished?
okay. I hope he's okay.
All, quote, all of them in that home need to get charged, and she needs to actually spend the rest of her life in solitary confinement and fed 2 cups of water a day? I can see why you lost your child.
Yeah.
You're not the brightest bulb, babe.
I hate to laugh, but no.
This is an oh baby girl moment. Baby girl. This is an oh baby.
Oh, baby
Oh.
girl.
Baby girl. Don't you baby girl me.
Oh, we are.
Oh no.
The world
Your
is-
baby girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your little cross.
With your little fucking crucifix right around your neck. That is wiling.
That's crazy. That is crazy. That's mind blowing.
My mind is blown.
Yeah.
How
How could you let this go? This poor boy, like.
So you guys don't know. It's not going to happen now or anytime soon, but it's coming in the future. Myself and Lexi are going to have another podcast. It won't be here. It won't be this channel. And it won't be like this. We will eventually be coming out with a podcast that is much rawer and realer than anything we could do on the band page.
Yeah. I'm excited.
We can't do it now.
We're still putting it together.
We're putting it together, but in the future, I'm not even going to give you a time length on it. It's not. It wouldn't be fair.
Nope.
But we're working on it. There will be a different podcast. But it will be rated R. It will be. Me and Lexi are building the most hardcore podcast on the internet.
Yeah. Yep.
It's going to have violence. It's going to have sex. It's going to be fucking insane. We just haven't figured out how to do it yet. So it's going to take some time to figure out like what we're going to do. But it will be the biggest, boldest, baddest podcast on the internet. The whole purpose of the podcast is to be the most upfront, no holds barred, word for word. We want to have the most honest broadcast that has ever been on the internet, where we just unleash and let loose. But we can't do it. We can't do it now, and it's going to take some time to compartmentalize. And we want it to be intellectual. We want it to be informative, but we want it to be explosive and dangerous.
We want to have the tough conversations and say the things that people don't want to say.
Yeah, we want to take it all on, like up front.
Mm-hmm.
We want to take, I don't even want to get into it. But you can imagine in your mind all the things that people aren't saying on the internet, all the questions that people aren't answering. We want to have a podcast on that. And we want to confront the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to see that it can't just be our conversation. It's got to be you guys' conversation too.
Yeah, you guys got to definitely join in.
So as we go along, I want to figure out a creative way to get people at home involved, because I think that could be the part that makes it. Like, you can't call into
What if we do
the podcasts that the podcasts that we have and that we like. You can't, like, people can't call in or mix it up with them. They can't appear with them.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of different ways.
What if we do call-ins and surveys?
I love that. Surveys In call,
Call
like
it
like
out.
like live polls, live polls with contests.
Each of our topics that we talk
Oh
about.
man!
Little
See,
survey.
this is why Lexi is here, everybody. This is why she's here. You can see in the back. I hate this story. The mother told NBC she gave up her son when he was a toddler and had been looking for him ever since.
But
So
you gave him up.
she gave him up.
That's not a kidnapping.
You abandoned your child. The mother told NBC she gave up her son when he was a toddler. Now, I'm telling you something about this because I was given up as a toddler, as an infant. I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying I know what this means objectively. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not a person that's ever drinking alcohol before, I don't give a fuck how many books you read. You can't really talk about alcoholism.
No.
You never had a beer. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about a college book. Same thing. A lot of people talk about child abuse, but they've never been abused.
Ever.
So what are we talking about? Nothing.
Nope.
Why are we talking about child minors? Have you ever worked in a mine before?
No.
Right. Why are we talking about roofers? You don't build houses.
No.
What the fuck? Why do we talk about shit that we don't know about?
Yeah, you can't say this was a kidnapping, but you're the one that gave up the child.
You're changing the language.
You're fucking with the English.
You're fucking with the English. Officers with the Waterbury Police Department arrested Sullivan last week on charges of assault. That was the lady that grabbed him. Kidnapping in second degree, unlawful restraint in the first degree, cruelty to persons, and reckless endangerment in the first degree. She's accused of keeping her stepson locked in a room. Wait a minute. You gave him up
For him to be.
with this lady that is that the lady is the stepmom. So wait a minute. You gave your child to an abusive man and a girl.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah. Yeah. That's the conclusion I have also made.
now 32? The young man made his escape. This is what Ricky was talking about. Yo, setting a fire in the bedroom using a lighter. Good guy. You gotta do something. Using a lighter and fucking hand sanitizer. That's beautiful. Deuce, oh my God. Holy shit. Rick said he lived with his dad and his stepmom, and his dad died. And she kept him locked up in there. Oh my God. He was 62 fucking pounds. That's disgusting. We got to move forward on this
Yeah.
one. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yo, this lady looks crazy.
I have to see this.
You got to. Bro, I'm not. Look. Come on, yo. Come on, man. Come on, yo. That. Yeah, she's
The
a.
mom?
That's the one,
Or
yo.
is that the stepmom?
No, that's the stepmom.
Oh.
Kimberly Sullivan is due back in court. They let her out.
What? Oh.
That's it.
I
We're
lost
done.
faith.
This is the most fucked up episode ever.
I've lost.
What
I've
the
lost
fuck?
faith.
What the
Oh my
fuck?
God.
Yo, we started with Andrew Tate. Now we're with this Leatherface bitch. Why are they letting these motherfuckers out? Hold on a second. They wouldn't let me out of prison for drinking a beer.
But they're not gonna. But they're gonna let her out for.
I'm being dead ass.
This is what we're talking about.
In my time, they take you to jail. Ask Rick. They'll take you to jail for a fucking joint, a pot, a mid-grade fucking Mexican dirtweed pot, the old brown,
Never let
the
you out.
compressed bud,
Keep you in the.
the
day
shit that
room.
don't even get you high.
They'll keep you in the day room for it.
They won't even buy you food in the morning. You might have to go to the county farm with that shit.
But they're gonna let that lady out.
Holy shit.
Lady out.
You would have went to jail for 30 years for Mexican brickweed.
There's-
This bitch just put a man in a basement.
And they let her out.
Han said stems and seed. Do you remember that shit? That old brown. And I'm not talking about horse. I'm talking about trees. They wasn't even like marijuana. It was like some other
It
shit.
was like sticks and branches and.
It was fucking crazy. They would. I'm not bullshitting.
No, you're not.
If they would have caught you with a 20 bag of Mexican weed,
You're done for.
you would have went to fucking jail in the 90s for fucking 2 years.
Yeah, but they're gonna let that lady out after she just kidnapped somebody and locked him in the fucking house.
I went to state prison on a parole violation for a fucking can of beer. They sent me to state prison for 16 months. I got out of work. I'm not bitter. I don't give a shit. I'm just saying this is the truth. I got out of work at a Friday night. I had a full-time job. I was working a short order cook at fucking Friendly's. I'm trying to think of the fucking dirtbag's name. I'm trying to think of his name.
There's bias in the
What the
court
fuck?
system.
I can't believe I can't remember this parole officer's name that I had. He was a real piece of shit. I hope he's watching.
There's bias in the court
What the
system.
fuck was that guy's name? He was a scumbag.
Shithead.
He sh-
Officer Shithead.
He put me in jail for. I remember I came home. I had my little girlfriend. I came back to the. I had my apartment in fucking Newmarket. I just got off of work and he showed up at my house. And I had a can of beer for a celebration. And lo and behold, my girlfriend was a G at the time. She saw the parole officer run by my fucking house like the FBI, a CIA, a Men in Black or some bullshit. They fucking surrounded me, sneaking up all covert. She took the beer from me and stashed it in her pocketbook. She was like, "Here they come. The boys are here." And they opened the door, and it was like, "Yeah, man, you smell like beer, bro." And I was like, "I had a beer." I just admitted it to him, you know? And he was like, "Oh, you're going back to jail." I was like, "I just admitted it to you. What the fuck is wrong with you? What type of person are you?" Yeah. They sent me back for that.
There's bias.
I said, "Look, man," he said, "No, you didn't. You've been drinking all night." At which point, I showed him the can of beer. This is honest to God story.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, look, it's my fault. I take accountability for it. I want to prove to you I was not drinking a 12-pack of beer. I had one single beer. It's a Friday night. I was celebrating. I should have thought better. I owned up to it."
Nope. You're going to
He
jail.
sent me to prison.
The fuck?
I was trying to show him I was responsible. They didn't give a fuck. That's a real story.
Yeah.
Mom. That's real.
Yeah. You can't make that up.
I can't. That is at.
You can't make that up.
Why would I do a thing like that?
You can't. It's too real of a
Every
story.
time I share something personal or private about my life, it's real.
Yeah. You can't make this shit up.
Yeah, motherfuckers brought me back. In fact, they don't even the what the hell's going on? This thing froze on this bitch's face.
Ew.
The majority of AI researchers say the tech industry is pouring billions into a dead end. Quote, "The vast investments in scaling always seemed to me to be misplaced." All right. You can only throw so much money at a problem. This, more or less, is the line being taken by AI researchers in a recent survey. Asked whether scaling up current AI approaches could lead to achieving artificial general intelligence or a general purpose AI that matches or surpasses human cognition, an overwhelming 76% of respondents said it was unlikely, very unlikely to succeed. That's it. So what I have been saying for 10 years, Lexi, is once again confirmed. In a recent survey, asked whether scaling up current AI approaches could lead to achieving AGI, 70% of respondents said it was very unlikely to succeed. Can we stop with the AI weapons race scam? Can we be done? Every study says it's a scam.
Every cognitive human being has said this was a scam.
Everybody
All the
has
time.
admitted now that AI is a scam for wannabe consumers to feel like they are on par.
And smart. And articulate. On there.
People who are unoriginal, people who otherwise do not invent things, can feel like they are on par with people that invent things and have original ideas. That's it! And of course, the 76% of people said it was unlikely because those people are the people that want to fire real human beings and replace them with the machines.
No more jobs for humans.
The whole idea is for these developers to have real human beings enter data for free for us to relinquish and submit.
Yeah, they don't want to pay people anymore.
Keyword, they want us to submit art, submit our addresses, submit our information to them, which we've been doing for years and years and years, decades now. They've got the information now. They've got it. And what they figured out is AGI is unlikely. So the whole idea of them creating humanoid robots that are going to act as African American slaves is unlikely. So sorry, everybody. We're not going to make robots and machines. We're people that are privileged and have money. We're not going to make humanoid robots to take the place of African Americans. Ha ha!
Ha!
See? You see? Rich people and privileged people are not going to get their wish.
Yay!
You guys are not going to have programs and humanoid robots that do your laundry for you so you can free up time and cheat on your wife.
Yeah, be lazy.
Right.
No more laziness. Get up off your butt and do the work.
Sorry, jig's up. There is no computer programs. There are no software that's coming out that's going to raise your kids for you. I know that in America, the greatest sense of success is when you can have babies and lay on your back and have machines and nannies raise them for you. I know that's the ultimate symbol of success now. Is when we can just throw money at everything. When we can just throw software and apps at every fucking thing we got going on. Guess what? The jig is up. You're not going to have AGI. There's not going to be humanoid robots that are picking fruit for you motherfuckers. And the fact that you want robots to live your life for you is weird.
Yep. This is not Smart House.
Published in a new report, the findings of the survey, which queried, listen up, 475 AI researchers and was conducted by scientists, not big mouths in the comment section.
Scientists.
Scientists. And at the Association for the Advancement of Artificial Intelligence, offer a resounding rebuff. It's a rebuff. A rebuff to the tech industry's long preferred method of achieving AI gains by lying, by furnishing generative models and the data centers that are used to train and run them with more hardware. Given that AGI is what AI developers all claim is the end game, it is safe to say that scaling is widely seen as a dead end. Can we be done with it?
Yeah, it's a waste of investment. This should be killed.
What is the waste of is people that have a mentality that you want apps and software and robots to take shortcuts for you.
Nope. You gotta do the work.
Some of this shit, when it comes to originality and you can have a machine with a cost. You can have a machine that does your laundry and dishes for you. I get it. But when it comes to originality, when it comes to being an inventor, All of these machines were trained on other people's ideas, other people's poems, other people's inventions, other people's lives and stories and art and images. So when you think you're being original, you're only being scammed.
Yeah, you're scamming yourself.
You're borrowing and hijacking other people's art and ideas, and I don't have a problem with that. That has always been. That is a great sign of success, when people cover your music,
That's great.
when people tell your jokes, when people share your ideas and poems and pictures. But what we're talking about here is the developers for the last 2 decades have been telling us that they're trying to achieve building conscious machines, human-like machines, AGI, general purpose artificial intelligence, that matches or surpasses human cognition. That's what they've been selling us. They didn't start this shit with, oh, you know, it's going to write poems for you and you're going to be able to do Jay-Z mashups. No. They said that they were going to build machines, that there is a customer base that wants to buy slave machines. That there is people on planet Earth that are hoping that there is software and then there are humanoid robots eventually someday that take place of African Americans.
No one could take the place of people.
What I'm saying is, there are people that have so much money and so much power that they're hoping to develop products that work as slaves to free up time for people. The idea behind AI, the end game was, what we all bought in, what they keep saying, dump your money into AI, dump your money into AI, because someday we're going to develop humanoid slave robots that work for us all, so we can all have free time and listen to music and fuck and smoke weed and enjoy our day. The same way that the slave masters had on the plantation.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Fucking awful.
The whole money pit, the whole advertisement of AI is that the end game is going to achieve AGI, general purpose AI that matches or surpasses human cognition. That has been the selling point. Not video games and cancer treatment. You never hear about cancer treatment with AI. You never hear about helping poor people or developing products that help homeless people or nothing like that. You don't, because it's not popular.
Nope.
I'm sure there are instruments and tools that AI has been developing to help oceanographers and climate people. No, I'm sure there is, but you don't hear about it because it's not popular. What do people want to hear about? That someday they don't have to go to work. Because the ultimate symbol of success in America, in our heritage, hardwired in our heritage, millionaires and billionaires can fuck all day and then they can buy nannies to watch their kids. Isn't that the ultimate symbol of success? When you have a dishwasher, when you have a laundry machine, when you have machines and slaves and systems that do the work for you. Or is living your life really the process? Searching for the music. No pain, no gain, doing every push-up, full stretch. Is it the process, you know? Do we just want to, get married? Or is it the process that gets you to the marriage, for instance, you know? Are we just getting a diploma at school, right? Or do we look back and go, wow, do we appreciate the process? It's not just a knowledge. It's not just playing guitar. It's not just martial arts. There was a process. There were relationships. There was real kinetic, electromagnetic relationships between you and your environment and other people when you were learning the steps of martial arts. There were milestones. There was murky waters and you know what I mean? There were stories and things to learn from and value to pass on.
Yeah.
Given that AGI is what AI developers all claim is their end game, it's safe to say that scaling is widely seen as a dead end. The vast investments in scaling, unaccompanied by any comparable efforts to understand what was going on, always seemed to me to be misplaced. I agree, Stuart. Stuart is a computer scientist at UC Berkeley who helped organize the report, told New Scientist, quote, I think that about a year ago it started to become obvious to everyone that the benefits of scaling the conventional sense had plateaued. They're admitting it.
Yeah.
Colossal sums of money are being thrown around in the AI arms race. It's funny because I used that same language before I started reading the article.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that it's interesting that now we're seeing that same language verbatim this deep in the article. Generative AI investment reached over, check this out, $56 billion in venture capital funding alone in 2024, reported by TechCrunch. Much of that is being spent to construct or run the massive data centers that generative models require. Microsoft, for example, has committed to spending $80 billion on AI infrastructure 2025. Listen up. It follows that energy demand is just staggering. Microsoft signed a deal to fire up an entire nuclear power plant just to power the data centers, with its rivals Google and Amazon also penning splashy nuclear energy deals. Like, wow. Ugh. The premise that AI could be indefinitely improved by scaling was always on shaky ground. Did you hear what they just admitted?
Yeah, they're admitting their failure.
And they're also admitting that it was only an advertisement. They only did this to feed us bullshit because they knew there was a population of people out here that doesn't want to fucking live their life.
They're admitting to scamming people and taking advantage of people that want to be lazy, people that don't want to write their own books, people that don't want to write their own
people that want
essays.
people, and also privileged people that are so rich that they can buy slaves.
Yep. Exactly. And they're admitting to being a part of that, being a colonizer.
We have words for it now. We call it AI agents and all of that other. That's really fancy, but it's just a secretary, right?
Yeah.
But a secretary that doesn't get paid is a slave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the definition.
You know?
Yeah.
Of course, the writing had been there on the wall before that. And last November, reports indicated OpenAI researchers discovered that the upcoming version of its GPT large language model displayed significantly less improvement. And in some cases, no improvements. The shit's plateaued. In December, Google CEO Sundar Pichai went on record as saying that easy AI gains were over. They can't just keep scaling up. Cheaper, more efficient approaches are being explored. OpenAI has used a method known as test time compute with its latest models in which the AI spends more time to think before selecting the most promising solution. I haven't found anything yet that this thing can impress me with. I'm an artist. Impress me.
There's nothing impressive
not-
about a computer making art.
Not yet.
There's nothing impressive about AI art. There's nothing impressive about AI, books or comments or wording or anything.
And I'll admit it. But I've heard a lot of my friends make AI music. I gotta be open and upfront. Some of it is getting realer, but just because it mimics human beings doesn't mean it's good. Human beings don't always write great music.
Yeah.
So when AI is learning about art, it's also learning bad art. It's not like it's learning.
It's probably learning all the bad stuff first.
See what I'm saying? So it's like it's not like some of the shit that it generates is fucking gruesome.
Yeah, because humans are gruesome.
Because we are, and if you have a robot or a piece of software and you say, "Hey, be like people," it's gonna say, "Okay, I'm gonna be disgusting, racist, gruesome, hurtful, hateful. I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna betray my mother. I'm gonna be a fucking pervert."
Because that's what most people are. That's what they're programming into AI.
Which is crazy. DeepSeek, meanwhile, pioneered an approach dubbed Mixture of Experts, which leverages multiple neural networks, each specializing in different fields, the proverbial experts, to help come up with solutions. Can I just start calling it slaves?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, I hope that you had as much fun as I did. It's 8:45.
What?
Yeah. We'll be back next week. I had so many more things to talk about, but when we get into sex offenders, I just can't help myself.
Yeah.
It's become a staple of the program. Join us next week, you guys, for another
Bye.
episode.
See you
Of
later.
William is the world.